we're going to use dimensional analysis to convert between the U.S. customary and metric systems. So first, let's remember that dimensional analysis is when we're going to change values that deal with units, and the units matter. So we have to make sure that when we're setting up these problems, we play with the units. And we are going to round each problem to the nearest hundredth when necessary. So number one, guests at a party consumed 50 liters of wine. How many gallons is this? Now, sometimes it's good to know that, like, okay, so I'm starting with 50 liters. I want my answer to be in gallons. I'm a visual learner, so I like to write these things down. Now, I can look and say, okay, according to my conversion chart, I know that, let me just write this down here, I know that 1 quart is the same as 0.9464 liters. So that's a conversion factor, right? And I need to make this a ratio. And because I have liters in the numerator, to get rid of those, I want to put liters in the denominator. So I'm going to put 0.9464 liters in the denominator and the equivalent of 1 quart in the numerator using equivalents. So here, the liters will cancel out, and now my units are in quarts. Well, I don't want to be in quarts. I want to be in gallons. And we know that 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. To get rid of quarts, I need them to be in the denominator, so the units cancel out. So I'm going to have 4 quarts on the bottom and 1 gallon on the top. I often say, let the units guide you of what's next. Now, once I have the units to be in gallons, that's what I want. Now I'm ready to do the math. So I'm starting with 50. The next number is in the denominator, so I'm going to divide by 0.9464, right? If it's in the denominator, I divide. Numerator, I multiply. And then 4 is in the denominator, so I'm going to divide by 4. So 50 divided by 0.9464 divided by 4 gives me 13.209, 79459, goes on and on. Round to the nearest hundredth. 7 tells me to round up. And nearest hundredth, I have 13.21 gallons. Let's do the next one. A person weighing 200 pounds weighs how many kilograms? Okay, so again, we're starting with 200 pounds. I want to be in kilograms. Okay, so check out your conversions. What do you know? Well, I know that 1 pound is the same as 0.4536 kilograms. Great. So in my next ratio, think about which goes in which position. Well, I have pounds in the numerator, so I'm going to put pounds in the denominator. So 1 pound and then 0.4536 kilograms goes in the numerator. My pounds cancel out. My units is where I want them to be, so now I can multiply. 200 times 0.4536, and that gives me 90.72 kilograms. Number 3, who was shorter? James Madison, the shortest U.S. president at 5'4", or Napoleon at 1.69 meters in height. Now, we need to convert either both of these to inches or both to meters. So we've got James Madison, who is 5'4", and we have Napoleon, who is 1.69 meters. All right, so first things first, I'm going to change 5 feet 4 inches to just inches. So I know that 5 feet can be, we can say that 1 foot is 12 inches. So that makes my feet cancel out, and I have 60 inches. Plus this left over 4 inches. So James Madison was 64 inches tall. So now we just have to decide which one do we want to change. And I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to change inches to meters. So I'm going to stick with James Madison here. And I'm going to take 64 inches. And I know that 1 inch is the same as 2.54 centimeters. So that makes my inches cancel out. When I multiply across in the numerator, I get 162.56 centimeters. To change centimeters to meters, I simply move my decimal to the left 2 places. So 1.6256 meters. So now I can compare meters to meters. Who is shorter? Well, 1.62 is shorter than 1.69. So Mr. James President James Madison is shorter. Number 4, if you purchase a loaf of artisan bread weighing 700 grams, how many ounces is that? Okay, so I'm starting with 700 grams. I want ounces. Well, what do we know? We know that 1 ounce is, change that to a 1 here, 28.3495 grams. Great. So I can use, I'm going to put grams on the bottom, so 28.3495 grams and 1 ounce in the numerator. So my grams cancel out. I'm in ounces, so I can just divide. 700 divided by 28.3495, and I'm going to get an ugly answer of 24.69179, I don't know, a bunch of stuff. So round to the nearest hundredth. 1 tells me to round down, so 24.69 ounces. And number 5, your cousin's newborn baby weighs 6 pounds, 7 ounces. How many kilograms is this? Okay, well, part of the issue here is that we have 6 pounds, 7 ounces. Those are 2 different units. So I'm first going to change 6 ounces, 6 pounds into ounces. So I have just ounces. So I know that there are 16 ounces in a pound. So 16 ounces is 1 pound. Whoop. So that makes my pounds cancel out. When I multiply 6 times 16, I get 96 ounces plus the extra 7. So this baby weighs 103 ounces. And we want to know kilograms, right? That's our goal. So we can do the same idea that we did the last problem and say, well, I know that 1 ounce is 28.3495 grams. Okay, so let's do that. If I do that, my ounces cancel out, I multiply across, and I get 2,919.9985 grams. Well, how do we change from grams to kilograms? And I go left 3 places. So 2.9199985 kilograms. Let's round that to the nearest hundredth. 9 tells me to round up. So 2.92 kilograms. And that is converting between US, customary, and metric using dimensional analysis.